I think the Press-Gazette has deeper issues, but let's get to the surface issues right now. They are not clicking as a staff, so that puts a lot of pressure on Rob Demovsky and that poor copy desk. Rob Demovsky doesn't always do a great job of getting his stories in on time, and he's making some unnecessary mistakes. But what I see is a lot of finger-pointing by Rob Demovsky. Now, I don't really know Rob Demovsky. I haven't been around him, but he strikes me as one of those guys that it's always someone else's fault than his own. I'm not so sure that deep down inside how well his co-workers really like Rob Demovsky. I'll tell you what else. Just because you're a great writer and a former Sports Writer of the Year doesn't make you a great person. There's a difference between the two. And I'll tell you what, on a scale of 1 to 1 trillion of the lamest excuses, the former Sports Writer of the Year just hit 1 trillion on this one. Rob Demovsky blaming the low number of people viewing the Insiders on the fact that the Press-Gazette is now charging for online content? Have you ever heard of anything lamer than that?
I'm Mike Vandermoss. He's Weston Hodkowitz. We're here for the 2-minute drill. Wes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Start the clock, please. Question number 1, Wes. Aaron Rodgers took a lot of criticism last week prior to the Texans game, and then he goes out and throws 6 touchdown passes. Does he need a chip on his shoulder to play at his very best, do you think?
You know, Mike, I think Aaron said it himself the best. I mean, he does. He sort of likes it. I don't know if he needs it to perform at an MVP caliber level, but he does perform really well when people are counting against him. And last week was a perfect example of it. You had a lot of national pundits saying, you know what, maybe this guy doesn't have what it takes to be a leader. And he came out, and I think he pretty much silenced him with his performance. You can't really get much better than what he gave you. 6 touchdowns, didn't have an interception, really kept them in the game. And at the end of the day, Mike, that's what you need right now in the NFL. You need a guy that's going to go out there, win you games, and not turn the ball over. And you know, Rodgers is one of the best right now at doing that.
All right, tough question. Number 2, who comes out looking like the bigger idiot? You've got Ron Jaworski and Merrill Hodge calling Rodgers rattled in the pocket. You've got Shannon Sharp calling Rodgers, you know, not a very good guy or not a good teammate. And then you've got Skip Bayless trying to concoct a story about how Rodgers was making excuses because of the practice squad. Who looks like a bigger idiot here?
I think it's too easy to say Skip Bayless, so I'm going to go with Shannon Sharp. And for the reason that, you know, I think there was some credence to saying that maybe he was a little bit rattled inside the pocket. Is that the fact or not? I don't think so. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know if he really, there's so many people that have stepped up and talked about his leadership. I don't really know if that's something that can be contested right now. So I really don't know what the basis was for that. So right now, give me Shannon Sharp. He's not only a Hall of Fame tight end, he's also a bona fide idiot.
Final question, Wes. Does this big dominating victory over the Texans put the Packers back in the land of the elite teams in the NFL?
I don't know if it puts them back in the land of the elite. You got to start winning, you know, stringing those wins together before you can start talking about that. But it definitely gets them moving in the right direction. They have a game against St. Louis, who I think is a very formidable team. They can get a win there, beat up on a Jacksonville team that's struggling, and I think you're back to where they belong.
For Wes, I'm Mike. We're out.
Rob, that was a really good story today. You moved me.
Hey, Rob, great work on the Insiders, man.
So, Rob, what do you think you told the critics today?